Today, I'm reviewing the xDuoo X5 DAP or digital audio player, and I'm going to tell you why you probably shouldn't buy it. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. Look at the X5. How about that? At first glance, it's looking pretty good. It's got a nice aluminium chassis. It feels hefty in the hand. And on the side here, we've got our playback controls. Well, some of them. I mean, look, there's three. There's a power button and you got your volume up and down. There is no, next track, previous track buttons. That's the first problem with this DAP. Now, you can, in the settings, change the function of these buttons while the screen is turned off only to do play, pause, and next track. But then if you want to change the volume, you have to turn this display on, go inside and do it from there. Anyway, get into more of that later. On the underside here is our audio in-out panel, starting with a USB Type-C jack there, or port there, a 3.5mm line output, 3.5mm headphone out, and 4.4mm balanced headphone out. Got an micro SD slot on the side there. And yeah, that's about it. So it feels nice in the hand. It looks pretty good. It's a good size. Sorry about the fingerprints. That's just going to be something you'll have to deal with, I'm afraid. So the price of this unit is $209 US. And inside the guts, we've got dual DAC chips. We've got dual Cirrus Logic CS43131 DAC chips. Everybody who follows Chi-Fi should be very familiar with those DAC chips by now. They're in heaps of dongles, in a few DACs as well, even in quad configuration. But we've got a dual config here. So I'll just run through a few of the stats and features here. Now, inside we've got, first of all, it's a 3.5-inch display, which with a resolution of 480 by 800 pixels. It is a touchscreen, of course. That micro SD slot supports cards up to 1 terabyte in size. When it comes to music format support, we've got DSD 64 to all the way up to DSD 256 and PCM 192 kilohertz, 24-bit. So yeah, pretty standard there. We cover most of the current music file formats: WMA, MP3, APE, FLAC, WAVE, AIFF, etc. Bluetooth version is 4.2. This is a Bluetooth transmitter and receiver, so you can use this with Bluetooth headphones, or you can play music from your phone and send it to the DAP. When it comes to output power, headphone output, we've got, let's see, it's 200 milliwatts from the 3.5mm single-ended output. That's pretty good for single-ended output, 200 milliwatts. That'll drive any IM. In terms of the 4.4mm balanced output, we're looking at 270 milliwatts, which again is quite decent. Battery life is claimed at about 10 hours, and in my experience, that seems fairly accurate. All right, enough with all that stuff. Let's get into the user interface. That's what the lock screen looks like, and that's the settings menu. Here is the home screen, and you can see it is pretty simple in design. It is not flashy, but it is functional. I don't mind it at all. So we've got an equalizer. Let's have a look in there. We've got a bunch of presets and a custom EQ option as well. So that's pretty nice for people. 10-band EQ, which I don't use, but you got your player settings here, just the general stuff, high and low gain, a few digital filters to cycle through if that's your thing. There is a car mode, which is nice. Unfortunately, there's no option for gapless playback, and really every DAP should have gapless playback support by now. System settings are pretty ordinary as well, just your standard stuff, fairly limited. There's not a lot going on. I'm not going to dive into all that stuff. It does support Wi-Fi, which is cool, and you can set it up to do automatic OTA updates. The Bluetooth works quite well. I've been using it actually as a receiver, so playing music and on my phone and using it as a receiver, that works fine. But let's dive into the music menu, and here we'll find, no, it's not the music menu. This is the album list here. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's no album art in the, when you're perusing through your music library. In addition to that, if you do a quick scroll up, it's janky as heck. It jumps around, it is laggy, it's not very responsive, and it's just it's just very unpleasant to use. There isn't an alphabetical list down the side for your quick jump. If you want to get to something at W or P, you have to scroll all the way down, and that's just not much fun, especially when it's janky and laggy like that. So that's another problem. It does have album art on the now playing screen, just like that. It usually takes a lot longer than that to load the image. It's just because I had this one loaded up before. So yeah, I think the issue with your music library browsing, how it's all jerky, and the speed of the interface here is really, really poor, probably because they've got a very low powered processor in there. As far as I know, the specifications do not specify what is in there. I'm sure somebody in the comments down below can tell me, someone who's all into that kind of thing. There is also a pull down menu, which is just like that. You do get shortcut to your volume control, brightness, Wi-Fi, etc. That's all there is. That's basically the player. That's all there is to it. Not a whole lot. There's a shortcut to the playback settings there. Again, no option for gapless playback. But let's just dive into the audio quality. We'll talk about how it sounds, and yeah, it does sound actually very good. xDuoo products generally do sound very good, but a problem that I've had with some xDuoo products in the past, and one I specifically have really badly with this product, is EMI, or electromagnetic interference. So often I'll be playing music and I'll just hear this little intermittently in the background. Very distracting, makes me want to almost throw it out the window. Even when I move my phone far away, I have experienced EMI still. That is yet another problem with this device. When that's not happening, the audio quality is great. I mean, those CS43131 DAC chips do sound wonderful, and xDuoo generally does good amplification circuits with their products, but there is something going on and it just ain't right. Basically everything except the audio, when there's not EMI, is janky as heck, and there's just really no reason for me to recommend this. Let's just have a look at some of the alternatives. This is the Hibby R3 Mark II, and if I go into the album, my music library, it's nice and smooth. You do get album art. It does take a while to generate, but it is there, and when you play music, it just feels more responsive in general. On top of that, you get your gapless playback, you get your bi-directional Bluetooth, all that, but it costs less, it's smaller, it's lighter. Then you've got this little guy here. This is the Shanling Q1. I think this one's discontinued, but it's worth having a look. Oh, look, album art, hello. This is a lovely, lovely little device. I really liked this, except the buttons were way too easy to press. Apart from that, this should have been a hit in my opinion, but let's move on to the Hibby R1. Now this one is under $100, album art, and a nice, well, not particularly smooth, but it doesn't jerk around like the xDuoo, and it's got your alphabetical shortcut on the side there. So look, for some reason, I don't know how this happened. Maybe xDuoo put all the money into the audio circuitry, because like I said, fantastic sound, but it's just so unpleasant to use. I would never pick this up on my way out the door when I had, if I had any of these available. I don't know what else to say. This one is definitely not recommended. I don't know what happened there, xDuoo. You need to go back to the drawing board. This feels like something that came out in 2018, 2019. It feels like a device from 5 or 6 years ago. And I think for over $200, it's just unacceptable. And I'm going to wrap it up there. So thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Pa Family Audiophile Style. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.